The players that every coach loves are the ones that do all the little things to impact the game and stay aggressive both on offense and defense. And to analyze what Fred VanVleet does for Toronto, I linked up with Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown to go in depth on Freddie's performance. You could really see that VanVleet was in attack mode right from the moment that he got in the game. So as we look at the first play right here, he sees Cousins coming out on the screen and hits him with a slight hesitation before blowing by to the basket. So coach, we can see that Freddie has control of the situation and is looking at how Livingston will react on the help. So the pass could be made if Livingston committed to help out here. Take us through what VanVleet sees and how possibly having a slower Cousins back from injuries may be encouraging the Raptors guard to go for the drive.
A couple things I want to bring up here about VanVleet is he's going to his left, and you know, these are all pros, they can go either way, but he is really good and very aggressive going to his left, his offhand, which is really important because you want to be able to set that screen either on the right wing or the left wing depending on how the play flows. But I want you to watch real quickly in how he does a left foot skip. I'm really into skip dribbles because it's a built-in hesitation. So he lifts on the left foot and then lands again on the left foot, and that's that hesitation that lets him explode to his left and get by Boogie. I think he knows he's going to get by Boogie in a second without any problem, and using that skip dribble really helps. He also knows, I believe, that Livingston really can't help one pass away off of his man in the corner, McCaw. So once he turns the corner tight, now Livingston's nowhere near. And here's a really cool finish. He goes off the left foot and then lays it up with the left hand, an offhand finish, which is really important to get it out away from Boogie, who would block this with any other shot. Really difficult to do, and notice the double pump he has to add in that because it's an off-foot layup. He needs to regenerate momentum so he can then lift it up and off the glass and in. Really high level stuff here, lots of skill. That's why I love Fred VanVleet.
And talking about great finishes, play number 2 right here, it's crunch time. It's the fourth quarter, so Golden State cut into this lead by this point. So I had mentioned this to you. I love the fact that while in previous rounds he would just settle for the jumper mostly, but right here he's got Jerebko on the switch, and this is a clear mismatch. Goes directly at him, chest to chest, and we can actually see another nice, crafty, although tough finish at the rim.
Absolutely, he does. He hits him with a Euro. Fantastic defense by Jerebko, guy who's underrated in that respect in his positioning. But here's the thing I want to point out. When you look at the replay angle, just notice how he keeps his focus on the rim, on the target, for as long as possible, almost to the point where he nails his head on the floor because he knows he needs to keep his focus where that target is all the way through the release and beyond.
A bit dangerous, but really high level of commitment here to get the layup.
It's that focus, I think, that separates the good finishers from the not good finishers.
Yeah, and as aggressive as VanVleet was offensively, I really love the defensive effort of really trying his best to at least slow down Curry. Look at this play right here as he picks up Curry early, just trying to make things difficult for him and possibly disrupt the flow of the offense. To me, his pesky defense here is what guides Curry towards the double team, and they got a turnover. As a coach, you really must love the effort right here.
For sure. I mean, with Steph Curry, if you're not picking him up in the backcourt, you're doing it wrong. And I love what he does here. He's not completely on top of him where he can get beat because Steph Curry is so good with his handle, but he has enough pressure where Curry doesn't feel comfortable. He's not going to just pull from 40 easy. But watch what he does here, because when you watch Gasol, he actually puts his hands to his mouth like he's yelling out the coverage. And the coverage here is ice. And that means that Fred VanVleet needs to force him away from the screen and back towards the right sideline. And that's what you see Fred VanVleet do expertly. He jumps into that lane that Curry is trying to use that screen for and forces him back to the right side. And that's what they want. Now Gasol can contain, and he's above the three-point line, which is terrific for Gasol. The key here for me, though, is as the pursuit happens, when the ball gets deflected, he is on top of Curry. He knows he's not going to steal, but he's on top of him, and that forces Curry, or invites him to hit him with a little bit of the arm there to the face and get a foul and force a turnover. Just fantastic effort really here, but also not to overlook the ability to jump into that defensive coverage instantly on the quick bark from Gasol.
We can agree on the fact that staying attached to Curry at all times is the only recipe for success with all of his legendary ball movement at this point. So for our last play, VanVleet is all up on him, and you can see that leads to a block, and ultimately on the transition they get a basket. So I know you had something to say about the referees in this game. Either way, great on-ball defense for the Raptors is definitely what led to many fast break points for them in this game.
Let's briefly talk about the off-ball defense, because this is when Curry starts off the ball, and this is when the referees tend to let the defender be a little bit more physical with Curry, which is why the Warriors need to be careful about doing this too often. But you can see here, first of all, Steph Curry gets a push off, and they're allowed to do that. So you have to be strong enough to hold your position and not get pushed too far off. Now, watch how they set this screen for him, and he goes underneath. That might have been a little bit of a mistake to me. I almost feel like had he gone the other way with his hands up, he would have deflected this pass to Curry. But now it gets him in a bit of a blender here where he's got to come right back around another screen by Looney. But here's what I think we're discovering as the future of defense moves on for three-point shooting. We've discovered that jumping in the air to contest a shot is the best way on good shooters to decrease their field goal percentage. But I think the new frontier will also be when you start to bother them on the side of their face. So if you see here as VanVleet jumps by, and I guess he does get the ball, and gets a little bit of a block because I don't think Ibaka got there. He's also trying to swipe and contest on the side, and there's nothing that I've seen that distracts a shooter more than when you have a hand in the airspace over by the side of your face. That's a real problem area for a lot of guys. It's hard for them to train for that.
Really interesting take. I know for me, when I'm shooting the ball, if I have someone on my side, it really can disrupt my whole flow. These are professionals, but I'm gonna assume that for them it's a bit tricky as well.
But whenever I talk to pros, either the players or the coaches, I tend to, in sort of a funny way, I'll bring up, why not just fake like you're gonna punch the guy in the nuts? And we all laugh about it, but I talked to some shooters who were like high-level college shooters last week about it, and they're all like, yeah, I'm not gonna make a shot if someone does that. I don't think I'd ever get used to that. So I think that at lower levels you might get a technical foul just because refs think it's unsportsmanlike, but I'm not talking about hitting anybody. I'm just talking about you kind of fake like you're gonna do it. And I think if you train that and practice that, I don't see why it wouldn't be viable too.
I'll try to implement this in my neighborhood games.
All right. Well, I hope your car is fast and you can get your keys out and get out of that, bro. As quickly as you can if you tried that too many times.
Absolutely. Again, huge thank you, Coach, for coming in and giving us all a different perspective here on the game. Getting a different perspective from an actual coach. And you guys can check out the video that we did over on his channel, and it's gonna be linked down below. So that's it for now. If you like this video, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss my future in-depth analysis. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out.